municipalities, I think.
Very good.
She was making fun of me earlier. So I'm like, municipalities. And she's like, can I talk to you? I'm like, sure. Businesses, churches, and service organizations. The complaint-free movement has been featured in thousands of newspapers, magazine articles, including People Magazine, Newsweek, Wall Street Journal, O Magazine, and Chicken Soup for the Soul. It has also appeared on The Oprah Show, NBC's The Today Show, The Dr. Oz Show, Good Morning America, CBS Sunday Morning Show, and the Fox News Channel. So it's now my pleasure, and please give a Bearcat welcome to Mr. Gleason.
Good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Good.
All right, you're all awake? All right, that's what I like. I'm really glad to be here. It's an honor to come all the way down from Michigan. 408 miles we traveled into your beautiful state yesterday. First time we've been to Missouri. We have a pretty place here. Before we get started with our program, which today is a complaint-free world, and I'm going to call it Living a Complaint-Free Life. Let that sink in for a minute. But before we go, a couple items. I'd like to thank Kelsey, Greg, Darren for having us here, your staff. Wonderful. I really appreciate all you've done for getting us here. Secondly, I'd like to acknowledge teachers because you guys are the lifeblood. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to stand when you fall into certain categories. I'd like to acknowledge you and say thank you. We're going to do that based on the years of your service in this profession, whether you're a teacher, support staff, whether you're whatever you are helping out the district. So if you've been in this business or profession for 5 years or more, please stand up and stay standing. Okay, look at that. Okay, now I'm only going to ask you to sit down if you don't fall into the next category, the proverbial 10-year. Who has 10 years or more, stay standing. Okay, that's good. We lost a couple. Now's when we're going to have some fun, okay? 15 years. 15 years and you're still standing. 20 years because you haven't been knocked down. 25 years. You're still standing. Oh my gosh, look around the room. Those people can smile. Let's see if you can smile. We're taping you today, so okay. We're going to hit home now at 30. 30 years and you're still standing. Amazing. Okay. So that's what happens. That's what goes first. Okay. That was 30, right? Okay. 35. 35. Now we're going to hit it big time. 40. I can't even stand up anymore. 41. 42. 43. 44. Complaint-free world. How many of you are married to somebody, know somebody, work with somebody, live next door to somebody, are related to somebody that's really made an art form out of complaining? Show your hands and keep them up. Come on. Come on. Okay, look around. Hold the hand up. Do you see them? No, that's not what I said. Okay. There was a lady by the name of Lily Tomlin. She said, man created language because of its deep-seated need to complain. Complaining, we have found, is the universal language throughout the world. It isn't English, it's not Spanish, it's not French, it's not German, it's not Japanese, it's not Chinese. It is complaining in every single culture. It is the universal language. It's because everyone can't help themselves. And it's so easy to fall into that. So today what we're going to do is we're going to give you some scripts, some dialogues, some techniques, some training, and a tool that's going to help you. Because what's going on in the world is a worldwide epidemic called complaining. And there's no pills and there's no vaccines to eradicate it. So we need you guys on the front line, okay? Because you are teaching the young minds how not to do what? Okay, you're still with me. You haven't fallen asleep yet from breakfast or whatever they did over there. So you guys are still with me. Okay. November 25th, 2011, I call my middle daughter, Kelsey, in Valencia, Spain. She's getting her first master's degree, and I said, Kelsey, it's Dad. Happy Thanksgiving. How many books do I need to read to get a 4-year college degree? I haven't been to college in 35 years. And she tries not to complain to me. Dad, now what? You know, why? Why do you need to read books to get a 4-year? What do you need to know any of that for? And I said, well, it's a new economy. Ordinary's out, extraordinary's in, and I'm not going to be the child left behind. She said, well, Dad, there's a lot more to getting a 4-year college degree than reading books, right? You got to take quizzes and tests, write book reports, chapter summary, course projects, course overview, homework assignments, take midterms, finals, write thesis paper, be present and past. This is what she says to me. But you probably got to read 35 to 50 books, maybe even more, depending on the 4-year degree. So I head myself off to my office, and I make this thing, and I hang it up on the door at my office, and I said, I'm going to read 200 books in the next year. Now, people I work with start complaining to me about a goal I set for myself. Doesn't even have anything to do with them. Because the universal language of complaining. So I head to the library, and I get every single book I could get on these 4 topics that I decided they were nonfiction that I wanted to learn, and I started reading. Didn't stop there. I photocopied 3,500 of the pages. I gave myself quizzes and tests and wrote book reports, chapter summaries, course projects, overviews. Took midterms, finals, wrote a 600-page thesis. I wrote 5 books that year. I ended up reading 165,000 pages, 23,500,000 words, 1,400 books. Now, people ask me 2 questions. How did you do it, and did you read any good books? Well, if anybody knows how to read, it would be you guys. How do you read a lot of books? Does anybody know? How do you go about it? Oh, you skim? That's one answer. You have to enjoy it. You have to have patience. Anybody else? Your teachers, you always have good answers. Come on. Come on.
You have to make your time.
There it is. That's an answer I was looking for. Time management. You must turn off the internet once in a while. Get away from a little social media. Maybe cancel your newspapers and magazines just for a little while. Turn off the TV and the radio. Get books on tape. And if you can just squeeze out an hour more a day while you're driving or while you're talking to somebody and you're reading, amazing things can happen. Now, people say to me, well, maybe that's easy for you. Well, it's not any easier for me. It will be no easier for you. It's all the same. One book I read, and I would strongly suggest that you get this book. Has anybody read A Complaint-Free World by Will Bone? A Complaint-Free World by Will Bone. Anybody in here? Guy lives in Kansas City. Okay, well, have any of you heard of Will Bone? All right, Kelsey. All right. You heard of Will Bone. Okay. Will Bone in 2006, while ministering to a church, as a minister, comes up with an idea and he says, I'm going to hand out 250 of these bracelets to my congregation. And this is about a year before he writes the book. These bracelets, he says, put it on your wrist and don't complain for 21 consecutive days. Comes up with this idea. All of a sudden, 100,000 bracelets sell are given out in a year. He follows up, he writes this book. Well, What's in that book that's so